Welcome back to Make Play Treasure. Today we're reading The Valentine Express by Nancy Elizabeth Wallace. On February 14th, Mrs. Bloom asked, "Who is our calendar helper today?" "Me," said Minna. "It's Valentine's Day." She taped a paper heart over the 14. "Let's talk about Valentine's Day," said Mrs. Bloom. "Would anyone like to share?" "Valentine's Day is about love and friendship," said Minna. "And giving each other cards," added Tyrone. "And candy," said Lindsay. "My dad gave my mom flowers," said Vanessa. "It's about sharing, saying and doing nice things," said Miguel, "and everybody being everybody's friend." "Yeah, it's a day to be extra thoughtful and caring," agreed Mrs. Bloom. "But how did celebrating Valentine's Day begin?" she asked. "Nobody really knows. It may have started in ancient Rome during a festival held in February. Young men picked names from an urn in hopes of finding someone to marry. It may have started with someone named Valentine who lived long, long ago. There are several stories about Valentine. One story tells how he was kind to children and that he sent a note to a young friend and signed it, "From your Valentine." Or it may have started because in the old days someone thought the birds found their mates on February 14th. It may have started for all these reasons, but one thing we do know for sure: for hundreds of years, sweethearts have been sending each other notes and cards, gifts and flowers. Mrs. Bloom pointed to her heart. The heart and feelings go together. We say things like, "You're my sweetheart. My heart throbs for you." So what shape is a symbol of love? The class knew. "The heart!" they shouted. "And I'm sure you know who this is," said Mrs. Bloom. The class shouted, "Cupid!" "Oh no, not more love stuff," groaned Dave. Mrs. Bloom smiled. Long, long ago, people also believed there really was a Cupid. If he shot a magical golden arrow into someone's heart, that person would fall in love. Today's Valentine's Day is celebrated in many countries around the world. Austria, giving flowers and baking special cookies. In Denmark, pressing snowdrops and giving them as a gift. In Italy, having a feast. In England, singing songs, giving fruit, sending unsigned cards. In Japan, giving chocolate candy. In the U.S. and Canada, giving candy, flowers, gifts, sending cards. Knock, knock, knock. Someone was at the classroom door. "Come in," called Mrs. Bloom. Vanessa's mom brought in 2 plates of heart-shaped cookies. Minna's dad brought in a pitcher of pink lemonade punch. And everyone gave everyone valentines. "Roses are red, violets are blue. I like chocolate, and so do you. Happy Valentine's to a great teacher." After school, Minna and Pip walked home. When they got to their secret Mrs. Wonder was hobbling toward them. "Happy Valentine's Day, Mrs. Wonder," they said. "Oh, is it today? Looks like your bags are filled with valentines," Minna answered. "I got one from everybody in my class." "I got one from everybody in my class too," said Pip. "Did you get lots, Mrs. Wonder?" "I used to when I was young," she said. "Well, happy Valentine's Day." She went into her house. Minna and Pip kept walking. "I wonder if grown-ups get valentines," said Minna. "What if Mrs. Wonder didn't get any? I wonder if Madam Duty got one, or Mr. and Mrs. Checker, or Big Stewart," they said together. "Let's make valentines for them," said Minna. When they got home, they told Dad about their idea. "That's a very thoughtful thing to do," he said. "When you're creating valentines, I'll be in the kitchen cooking something special for supper and dinner. Don't peek." "We won't." Minna went and got her art box. It was filled with colored paper, a glue stick, and markers, scissors and string, wooden craft sticks, tape, and a pencil. Pip got his scissors. "Can you make a valentine, Pip?" asked Minna. "Hearts are hard to cut, Minna. Just do your best." Pip started cutting. Minna did too. She cut one big paper heart and wrote on it. Then she cut it into puzzle pieces. A puzzle for Mrs. Wonder. She put all of the puzzle pieces in a white envelope. "Ooh la la," said Minna. "I have a great idea for Madame Doty." She cut a large triangle. Then she cut 2 hearts for wings and cut a blue butterfly body. She pasted the butterfly onto the triangle. Pip held the triangle while Minna taped it to a skinny stick. "Voila! A flag for Madame Doty," said Minna. Mr. and Mrs. Checker love playing games. "Instead of tic-tac-toe," said Minna, giggling, "I will make them tic-tac-heart." Minna took a piece of paper and a piece of purple paper. She folded the pink paper in half and then in half again. She cut out 4 pink hearts, then 4 more pink hearts. She did the same thing with the purple paper. Next, she measured a square and cut it. Then she took some more purple and pink paper and cut out 4 skinny strips to fit the square. Pip helped hold the paper strips straight while Minna glued them in place. "Mr. and Mrs. Checker are going to love playing this game," said Minna. She put 5 pink hearts and 5 purple hearts and the square into a big envelope. "Now," said Minna, "time to deliver. Puzzle for Mrs. Wonder, flag for Madame Doty, tic-tac-toe, heart, for Mr. and Mrs. Checker, and for Big Stuart." Pip held something in his hands behind his back. "These are not good hearts, Minna." "Can I see?" Minna asked. Pip put some of the hearts on the table and stuffed the rest into his pockets. "They are my practice hearts." Minna thought for a moment. "That's okay, Pip. You were busy helping me." "Do you have an idea, Minna?" he asked. "I'm thinking," she said. "You have extra hearts, Minna," said Pip. We can make a mobile," she shouted. Minna got 2 craft sticks and string from her art box. Holding the sticks in an X, she wound string around and around the middle. Next, she cut 4 pieces of string the same length. She and Pip taped 2 purple hearts and 2 pink hearts to the strings. Then Minna tied the strings to the ends of the sticks. Now they had a mobile for Big Stuart. "We better carry this Valentine," said Minna, "so it doesn't get all tangled." They loaded Pip's wagon. "We're the Valentine Express," said Minna, "delivering valentines to Mrs. Wonder and Madame Doty and Mr. and Mrs. Checker and Big Stuart." "Have fun," said Dad, "but hurry along. It's getting close to supper time." "Happy Valentine's Day, Mrs. Wonder. A heart-shaped puzzle for you." "Oh, how clever. How nice. Thank you, Minna and Pup." At the next house, Pip buzzed the buzzer. Madame Doty opened the door and he handed her the flag. "Happy Valentine's Day." "Happy Valentine's Day to you, mes amis." Madame Doty waved her flag. "Merci beaucoup." Minna clanged the bell at the 3rd house. "Well, look who's here," said Mr. Checker. Minna said, "Valentine Express, delivering a game for you. And a pretty mobile for the missus," said Mr. Checker. "Ooh," said Mrs. Checker. "I will hang it in the kitchen. You are filling our home with hearts and love. Thank you, sweet neighbors." "But," started Pip. Minna grabbed Pip's hand. "But we'd better be going." At the end of the Checker's path, the Valentine Express stopped. Minna sighed. "Mrs. Checker loved our mobile, but now we don't have a Valentine for Big Stuart." "What will we do, Minna?" asked Pip. "I'm thinking," said Minna. "Do you have an idea, Minna?" Pip asked. "I'm still thinking," she answered. Then she said, "If only we had your hearts, Pip." "They are in my pocket, Minna," he said. "They are? Good. Now we need to find a big twig." Minna found one near a tree. Pip found one near a tree. He brought it over to Minna. Minna gently pushed Pip's hearts onto the small branches. "Wow," said Pip. "I like it." The Valentine Express was making deliveries again. Ding, ding, dong. "What do we have here?" asked Big Stuart. "Come in, Minna and Pip. What a creative Valentine." Big Stuart put his Valentine in a vase on the mantel. "It's perfect," he said. "It's the art of friendship." Then Minna and Pip and the Valentine Express headed home. Happy Valentine's Day! We hope you enjoyed this book. And remember to like and subscribe so you can keep up with our reading events and activities. Catch you next time on Make Play Treasure. Bye!